Hello and welcome to my kitchen. Congratulations, you've unlocked a new location on the Cheyenne Nicole map. My name is Cheyenne Nicole. Today we're gonna do something a little different. I was at the grocery store today collecting ingredients for this meal that I'm going to prepare for you all and for me. Today I'm going to be making pizza from scratch in a cast iron pan and croutons. And I've never done any of that before, so could be a disaster. Anyway, I was walking through the grocery store collecting ingredients for this recipe, and I realized that I've never actually introduced myself to y'all. Some of you I know me, but others of you obviously may not. That's what we're gonna do today. You're gonna follow along with me. We're going to make a pizza from scratch, and I'm just gonna tell you about myself. Like and subscribe. First of all, I thought I was gonna go old school today, but there's no pizza crust recipe in this book, so screw you, Better Homes and Gardens. I'm gonna make sauce from scratch. I'm gonna make crust from scratch. We're gonna do the toppings as one does. And I'm gonna do cheater, ASMR. Going to do cheater croutons for a Caesar salad. So I picked up some already toasted French baguettes or crostini. We're gonna zhuzh those up in a little bit. But first, I wanna get the sauce rolling. I'm gonna get these kind of warming up in the saucepan so we can start to break down some of that acidity in the tomatoes while we work on everything else. So let's talk about me. My name is Cheyenne Nicole. I am 27 years old, born and raised in Michigan. I shouldn't be wearing a white shirt. I am married to my husband, Ryan, who you saw in my last video, and I have two dogs, Hank and Henry. Get that just kind of start to simmer over low. I have a degree in biology. Fun fact, I started my college career thinking I was going to be an English teacher. So essentially I have just as many English credits as I have biology credits. Next, we're going to get the yeast. We're gonna wake up the yeast a little bit before we make our bread dough. We have 1 cup of warm water for the actual crust, but I'm going to use part of that to activate our yeast. Wow, have you ever opened anything before in your life? Yeast. I'm gonna add a little bit of honey as well for a little bit of food for the yeast, and then a bit of the warm water. We're gonna let that wake up a little bit. I did competitive cheerleading for 7 years. During college, I started doing CrossFit. So eventually I went on to get my level 1 CrossFit certification, and now I've been doing CrossFit for 7 years-ish, 6-7 years. Yeast is a single-celled little fungi, and a byproduct of one of their metabolic pathways is ethanol and CO2. The CO2 is what makes your dough rise. Another fun fact, I've never used a KitchenAid before. We just got the stand mixer and I don't know how to use it. So we're gonna figure it out together. While we wait for the yeast to wake up, I'm going to start chopping some of our veg. So some of this garlic is going to be for the sauce, and some of it is going to be for the croutons. And I forgot to add a splash of oil. Splash of oil to the tomatoes. Also, while I'm thinking about it, I'm gonna preheat the oven. Oh, let's say 400. I grew up around cars. My dad has been a mechanic his whole life, or most of his life. And he has also drag race is about as long as I've been alive. So not only did I grow up at the drag strip, a lot of the careers I've done just out of high school, I've worked in pretty much every facet of the automotive industry. I've been automotive parts sales, I've been a lube tech, I've been a service advisor. After college, after I got my degree, I worked in the kind of the lab side of automotive production as well. So I guess you could say I know my way around a vehicle a little bit. Crush. That makes it so much easier to chop. Just gonna mince. Along with working in the automotive industry, I've also worked in the medical field. I was a phlebotomist for a while and a lab tech assistant. I've also worked in a grocery store. I've worked in the bakery of a grocery store. I've worked at a fast food pizza restaurant. So you could say I've lived a few lives. I have just a pretty well-rounded experience in a lot of different things. Where did I learn how to cook? If you ask my mother, it's I come by it naturally because she is a very good cook. Unfortunately, she could never talk me into hanging out with her in the kitchen when I was younger. So I've kind of just had to figure it out on my own. Also, my husband is a very good cook, so I'm sure I've gleaned some things from him. Look at our yeast is already activated. It is so bubbly. It smells like dough. So I'm gonna put 1 clove in with the tomatoes for the sauce. I'm gonna chop a couple more cloves for our croutons. So I do have a very busy schedule. I work a full-time job in a lab. Currently, I'm a lab tech in the ethanol industry. So I'm there every day. Oh no, we got a dud. I work out 5 to 6 days a week. And obviously, I'm trying my hand at YouTube videos. Where did my interest come from to make YouTube videos? Like most people on Earth nowadays, I grew up with the internet. I remember playing computer games in typing class in like 1st or 2nd grade. So I have very, very early memories of being on the computer, on the internet. We had a computer growing up. I remember dial-up. I remember that sound very vividly. And so naturally, when I got into middle school and YouTube started becoming really popular, well, first of all, it started on iFunny. I had an iPad and I was on iFunny all the time looking at memes. And then naturally that evolved into YouTube as YouTube content creators started to become the hit thing. I wasn't there from the start, but I was there near the beginning for Vlogbrothers, for Jenna Marbles, Hannah Hart, Mamrie Hart, Grace Helbig, SourceFed. I loved SourceFed and was so bummed when that was over. And I'm still, most of my time, I can't get the skin off this garlic. I still spend a lot of my time on YouTube. That's my main source of entertainment. So in my time, I've gleaned a lot from these creators. We're gonna have an overflow of yeast, I fear. I always kind of knew, I've always been creative. I've always liked to sing. I was in choir for all of middle and high school. I took dance for several years. I like to paint, I like to draw, I like to craft and do creative things. And just like most kids growing up, you know, you make little fun skits and videos with your neighbor girls, and I always kind of knew I wanted to do something in the creative wheelhouse. I also wasn't sure if I could handle biology. When I first started, math was really difficult for me in school, and so I worried I wouldn't be able to handle the math aspect of the biology degree. But then I decided if I wanted to be happy and if I wanted to pursue something that challenged me mentally, I was gonna have to take that risk, and I'm really glad I did. I love what I do, and I love science, I love animals, obviously. But I've always, in the back of my head, known I want to do something creative. And with my history of watching YouTubers, I kind of always knew I wanted to make YouTube videos or Twitch stream or something. So that's where y'all come in. What do I want this channel to be? What do I want all of this to turn into? Why am I doing this? Truly, honestly, from the depths of my heart, I'm doing this to find a community. I'm doing this to find like-minded individuals. I'm doing this to entertain, to have fun, to tap into that my creative side. Okay, our yeast is gonna overflow, so we're gonna go back over to the stand mixer. So in the bowl goes the yeast. We're saving you for later. So we've got our yeast, our water. I need 2 cups of flour. It's supposed to be bread flour. I don't have bread flour. Hopefully all purpose is fine. I need 2 tablespoons of olive oil. Just gonna go 1, 2. Salt. I'm gonna mix for 2 minutes, and then I guess I gotta knead it by hand. Let her rip, tater chip. That's done on here. I'm gonna spread out some flour so we can knead it by hand for a bit. flour. And before my hands get sticky, I need to oil this bowl. I want to learn things. I want to teach other people things. And I want to have a good time doing it. And that may involve animals like it has so far. That may involve cooking, travel, who knows? Fun, silly, stupid stuff. It's all very possible. But I just hope that y'all want to join me on the ride. The sauce is starting to bubble just a little bit, which is what we were wanting. Dough, uh-oh. Very wet dough. I'm just gonna cover that baby in flour. And we're gonna start kneading. 5 minutes seems like a long time to knead. Ah! I knew that was gonna happen. We are kneading here by hand to help develop those gluten strands, which is gonna make the bread. Gonna make the bread not only rise, but give it that nice texture and structure. If you find a sticky spot, just sprinkle on a bit more flour. When it comes to cooking, I'm certainly not a professional, but this is something I do know a bit about from working at a fast food pizza place that I will not name. I've made my fair share of dough. I'm going to roll this into a little ball, and I'm gonna set it in that greased bowl. Doink. We have a gas stove, so it has a little, it has like an exhaust heat thing when it's on, so that's gonna work as our own little proofing oven. What I've loved so far about making videos is truly challenging myself. I love a challenge, I love learning new things. So with making videos, the biggest learning curve for me has been technology and learning how to use an editing software, but also learning, and I'm still learning obviously, how to be on camera, how to present myself basically like I'm on stage, which is really intimidating for me, but I think it's good. I think it's helped me grow as a person for sure. Hopefully the channel will grow along with me. I would love in the future, if things go really well, to collaborate with other creators. I think that would be super fun. I'd be super open to that. But for right now, I'm just focused on growing the community. Comment below what color bell pepper we should use. Or guess which one I'm gonna use. Go right now, go in the comments right now, guess what color bell pepper I'm gonna use. I'm waiting. If you guessed red, you are correct. Good job. I said I wasn't a professional. I found cornmeal in the back of the cupboard. I don't know how long it's been there, but I'm gonna use it. Another fun part about making videos is making myself talk, because I'm not a huge yapper normally, but having to get used to learning how to just talk about everything. My husband has been super supportive of this whole endeavor. I think he saw the writing on the wall. It does ride on you working a 9-to-5 job every day and having all these other responsibilities at home and not having a whole lot of free time. And he really encouraged me to pursue making YouTube videos, not for financial reasons, obviously, initially, but like if it were to turn into something that would truly give me financial and creative freedom, which in earnest, I think everyone is looking for. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I'm just going to loosely chop up this prosciutto to make it easier to put on the pizza. And then I need to melt a stick of butter, maybe half a stick of butter. And you always have to do just a little taste test. Tastes like meat. Another fun fact, my husband's family's been making maple syrup since like the 1830 somethings. So we always have fresh maple syrup on hand. So we're just, instead of white sugar, I'm gonna do a splash of pure maple syrup. Oop, that was too much. A little bit of salt, some fresh cracked pepper. And by some I mean a lot, because I love fresh cracked pepper. Red pepper flakes in there. I have some thyme. No, I'm not measuring any of this. Measure with your heart. For your nose. Oregano, plenty of oregano. Let's do minced onion. That will definitely be a video in the future, the process of making maple syrup. Understandably, I think a lot of people don't understand what all goes into making maple syrup. It is a huge operation, at least the way we do it. And it's about a 50-to-1 ratio of sap collected to syrup made when it's all said and done. So it takes a lot of work, a lot of hands, a lot of time, but they've had a lot of time to perfect it. So I'm really excited to share that with y'all as well. So with our croutons, I need more workspace. First, we're gonna get some butter in the bowl, get that melting in the old microwave. So in a perfect world, I would have big gallon freezer bags to put these in to chunk them up, but I don't. So we're gonna do a little bit at a time. Butter, snack. In with the bread goes the garlic we minced earlier. That's a lot of garlic. The garlic we minced earlier. And then I'm going to do herbes de Provence. Herbes de Provence. Give it a good shake. I spread the bread out on a parchment-lined baking sheet. When the pizza is partially done cooking in the oven, I'll stick this in, and that'll crisp it back up a little bit. As you can see, our dough has about doubled in size. So I'm going to very, very thoroughly oil up this pan so it does not stick. I'm gonna get this guy out. It smells really freaking good. Oh, it's very crusty. That's not good. Well, this is the worst possible outcome. Okay, plan B, come with me. I'm scooting you with my foot. Oil on the hands. Oil on the hands. Just a little bit. That helped. I'm gonna dock it a few times with a fork so it doesn't get too puffed up in the oven. And it's gonna go in the oven to crisp up a little bit before we put our toppings on. Ladle the sauce. Plenty of sauce all over this guy. Get it on my white shirt. I've donned my very professional Minnie and Mickey apron. Going with mozzarella. Some bell pepper. For our onion. Prosciutto. Diced pancetta. All right, we're gonna throw her in the oven. For how long, I could not tell you. I'm gonna go by smell. I'm gonna go by sight. So we're looking for everything to kind of melt down and, you know, get to know each other, and then the crust to be golden brown on the edge. Oh my gosh. Pizza and croutons are done. They look phenomenal. I think they turned out good given the circumstances. Before we dig in and give it a try, I want to first of all thank everyone who has watched this whole video. If you've watched any of my other videos, again, super appreciate it. If you could go back and watch those, that would mean a lot to me. Thanks a lot. Remember to like, subscribe, comment. All of your interaction support is so, so appreciated. Oh, that slid right out like butter.
God damn. That a pizza, buddy?
You got a hot dog, buddy? Uh-oh, the crust might be weird. The crust might be a little thick.
Damn, boy. He's thick. That's a thick ass boy.
It does flop, so I don't know if that's good or bad. Doesn't New York style pizza flop? You know what they say, like, bad pizza's still pretty good pizza. So, I'll keep working at it. Okay, love you guys, thanks. Bye.